back at 8:30 and we're talking about FONAR, which I guess is a brand name. NMR would be more technically correct.
Yeah, the FONAR people, the Dr. Damadian,
Okay.
who was to join us today, he's probably the one who really started the whole thing. He got the idea one day that you could do this kind of thing, and everybody said he was a nutcase, because I did the first story.
Isn't that amazing?
It really is.
He can get this machine together that can do so many wonderful things, but he can't get the car through the traffic on the Long Island Expressway, and that's where he's stuck right now. Right?
Yes, you're absent-minded professor.
I guess that's a statement of the times. Dr. Hanafee, as we take a look at all the marvels of this machine, what's the downside? What's the biggest minus attached to it?
Well, I guess you might say it doesn't image bone real well. You won't be able to see calcification in tissue. These are what we look at now. Really, it's tough to find a downside.
Are those refinements that you see coming down the road? Or will it never be able to?
Oh, there are so many good things about it. That's such a minor problem. For example, the liver visualization is not all that great, yet you can center in on the bile ducts and on the gallbladder, and the bile itself changes character if the liver is not functioning properly.
The idea here, Brian, is you can't. It's kind of a tough spot to put the doctor on, because what we say we can't do suddenly within a week or two becomes possible. Now, one of the reasons that I felt at the time when I did the first report on NMR back a dozen years ago was, well, you can't do this. The idea is great. It's like we can go to the moon if we could figure out a rocket, sure, but who's going to get the technology? Well, suddenly the computers came into being, the CAT scanning techniques came into being, and suddenly the ability to take all this billions of bits of data and throw it into one system was there, and suddenly what I thought maybe at the year 2000 would become feasible, the guy calls me up and says, listen, you want to see a picture we took with magnetic in a magnetic field? And I go down and look at this picture, and my first thought is, this is fake. It can't be. And so it goes that rapidly. Within a year, we might possibly be doing just about anything that physicians ever wanted to do and never hoped they'd ever be able to do.
Is there unanimity?
Does everyone agree?
Yes. Does everyone agree?
I think they do.
Or is the machine causing some controversy?
Okay, this business of chemistry is still down the line. How exacting it is replacing biopsies is a little bit controversial. We have a surgeon that I work very closely with in head and neck surgery, and I admire him greatly. He's got this sign on his wall. It says his 10 commandments of head and neck surgery. Commandment number 1, never trust your mother. And what he means by that is, if you wouldn't trust your mother, you're not going to trust somebody else's data, somebody else's opinion, and so forth. And that's precisely what we want to do at UCLA, is to gather data, get this worked out.
There's a lot of off-the-record stuff, though, too, that scientists, Dr. Hanafee is very cautious and careful. Most physicians are, and I applaud them for that. But there's a lot of stuff that has not been published that people are doing that you sort of hear about as sort of the undercurrent. And you suddenly discover, gee, there's a group down there giving patients lithium and taking brain scans, and they can tell instantly, is this lithium going to take a
finding out
manic
what the machine's about along with
exactly, and they're
else.
afraid to say anything because, again, that label, well, if my peers don't approve of it, I'm in big trouble. I'm not going to say anything, but the word gets around. It is the most exciting thing I've seen.
Oh, looking at heart, for example, showing blood flow in the heart, showing blood vessels without having to do angiograms and injecting contrast materials. You actually see the blood in the vessel as it's flowing. And if the vessel has a narrowing, the blood doesn't flow in a nice linear fashion. It kind of whirls. And when it whirls, you see it. And that's what you want to know.
Exciting stuff, and the preventive applications opening up every day. Dr. Hanafee, Dr. Field, thank you much. 8:29, station break.